guys, welcome back to the Ready, Set, Blow podcast, episode 326 with Natalie Stavola, actress, comedian, and most importantly, a registered dating coach.
Yes.
Legitimate.
Like a legit dating coach.
Do you know how much I've trashed like dating coaching and therapy, like couples therapy?
Do you know how much I have too?
So what did you do first? Did you get into coaching first or acting first?
Acting first.
Okay. And you moved out here for that?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Connecticut.
Okay.
Lived in Florida.
All right.
Got subjected to Florida.
I can see that.
Yeah. Oh, everyone says that.
Where in Connecticut?
Danbury and Southbury. So I was right next to New York.
I've been to Danbury before.
You have?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, my
Were you in
mom's
prison?
my mom's best friend used to live in Danbury, so we'd go up in like a couple times. Yeah, they had a pool. I just remember it was like a classy trip for us. It was like, oh man, these people are rich. And I look back now and I'm like, they had like a three-bedroom home in Danbury. I mean, they had more money than us, but they weren't like by any means rich.
It's so interesting because I think because most of the houses in Connecticut are all like 2-story and all from the 1800s, so you just have a lot of them. Everyone I talk to always assumes that Connecticut is some like they think of like Greenwich.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Darien,
no.
Connecticut.
Yeah, it's like the suburban New York.
So where in Florida did you live? And did you go to high school in Florida?
I went to high school in Florida.
Okay, so in my opinion, that's when people ask like, where did you grow up?
You think high school?
No, I think wherever you went through
way.
puberty is where you grew up. Wherever you became an adult.
The ocean.
I
skipped
birth
school.
and you just stayed in it?
Well, here's the thing. We went from Connecticut, where I was having like 6-foot blizzards, walking through the snow to school, to like, I was like one of those, like back in my day, we had to walk through the neighbor's yard and watch as my mom ate shit and face planted. Are we allowed to swear, by the way?
Of course. It's
Great.
my podcast.
Fucking perfect.
It's the point of this podcast.
Yeah.
That's why I do it every week, so I can curse at my guests.
I wasn't allowed to speak. I need to be able to do it. And so we would like walk through these 6-foot blizzards, and like eat shit on black ice, nearly die every year. And so we moved down to Florida.
How old were you?
I was about like, I just talked to my mom today. I was about like 11 or 12.
All right, so
when I moved down.
Grew up in Florida.
See, here's the thing though. I look at like, okay, so your formative years for coaching, for instance, and here's therapy. Here's how we mix it. The ages of when your subconscious mind is formed is from the ages of 2 to 10. Up to 14. So the way that I see it is like my limiting beliefs and all the bullshit that I have to undo is definitely Northeastern stuff.
Yeah, but all of your, I feel like most of your memories, because I mean, you remember a bunch from, from 5 to 10, but you don't remember it the way you remember high school.
I try and I blacked that shit out. What do you mean remember high school?
You and everybody else who didn't like going to school.
Yeah, not only that, I'm an alcoholic. I'm a raging drunk. I mean, I'm sober now, but like.
How long have you been sober?
5 years. 5 years, 4 months, some other days.
Do they make you track every day?
No, we do that because we're like, it's like
drunks
jail.
are pretty accurate about that. Like I can't tell you what my bank balance is, but a recovering alcoholic can tell you how many days sober they've been.
Let's see. I'm the 18th, so it'd be 5 years, 4 months. What day is it? So, fuck. I can't. I'd have to look. And then 14 hours. Anyway, something like that.
Did you 12-step to get clean? How'd you do it?
Oh yeah. I hit so many bottoms. But that's also the thing too, is that I think that like from my family, we have like alcoholism in there. So regardless of where we wound up moving, my family is so like, if you talk to my dad is so fucking Northeastern. He sounds New York, that like, you definitely have that culture and that heritage.
Oh yeah, you're not going to change who your family is.
And then, I hit enough of bottom. I never thought that I had a problem. I was like, it's everyone else.
So what was your, was it just drinking, or did that lead to something else?
Oh yeah, it led to something else. It was first just drinking because I was terrified of drugs. My family put the fear of God of drugs. Okay. They're like, if you do drugs, you're going to be a drug addict. So
and when did drinking start?
Drinking started. Well, in my family, we're Irish Italian, so it starts like you get the whiskey and the gums. I remember I had a cold when I was a kid, and my grandma pulls out this old Irish whiskey, and like I took a shot of that at 6, and I was like, and it was so warm going down, passed right out. It's great. I think the first time I got like drunk, I was like maybe 14 because I didn't want to.
Okay.
I know. Well, I saw
peer pressure, or you just did it.
No, I was in pain. I think I had just gotten my heart broken. My first relationship, my heart got broken.
Grade, of course.
Oh God,
you know what love
that's
is
the year, right?
14.
The world was over at 14. I was like, I just can't anymore. I can't live, and it was hard. It was really difficult. And I didn't know how to cope. I had no coping skills.
Yeah.
I have a, loud Italian father.
You just bury it.
Whole family. You just bury it. That's what you do. You
Right.
suck it up, walk it off. If it's not broken, you're fucking fine.
Yeah.
The biggest thing in my family, what they taught me is that if your leg hurts, hit the other leg. Now you're not thinking about the first leg that hurts. That's the mentality.
Yeah, that's what I do with my car. If I get a flat, I pop the other 3 tires, so I'm not worried about the
Boom.
first.
then you're even. You're fucking even. You're rolling on. I see nothing wrong with this.
It's a bad. I mean, I feel like there's a big generational thing in that. Like, I feel like every generation gets more and more in tune with what's going on inside their emotional, psychological life.
Oh yeah.
But at some point, I do think there is a little bit of like, all right, stop dwelling on your psychological life and just
Agreed.
live your life. And I suffer from that. I mean, I do that shit all the time. Like you start spiraling out of control in your head, and you're like, all right, well, why don't I do? Yeah, I remember a friend of mine once told me, it's like, I don't feel right. He's like, well, then go do something that makes you feel normal. Go do something normal, and you'll feel normal.
Right.
Go to the gym. Go, go out to dinner with friends. Like, if you're in a weird place, just do something that normal people would normally do.
Right.
And that might help you get into that normal headspace, as opposed to just spiraling on whatever
marinating
recurring, not
in it.
Positive thought you're going down. You're
Exactly.
going down the drain with.
Well, it depends, because here's the thing. So as an addict and alcoholic, I did the norm. I tried to do the normal thing. I said I'm not fucking normal.
That's the thing with alcoholism. I mean,
But I was escaping, and if you take away drugs and alcohol from someone who's an escape artist like myself, then I will use people. I will use traveling. I will use things to escape.
To distract yourself, yeah.
Exactly. So there's a difference. I feel like there's that healthy balance of like, if you're constantly escaping, if you're a workaholic, or you're constantly like, I'm just going to do this and do this and do this, you're going to get your ass fucking handed to you, because our subconscious mind will rule you.
It kind of catches up to you.
Yes.
If you don't fix a problem, it compounds.
This is where we get sabotage, where people get gambling, where people pick toxic relationships, and we will repeat the same fucking patterns over and over and over and over again, wondering why we're stuck, why we're not successful, why we're choosing toxic partners. And then we get frustrated and ashamed of ourselves, when really it has nothing to do with, as much as I want to like not be an alcoholic, or as much as I want to like, not have trauma, it's fucking there. So deal with it.
Yeah.
Just don't dwell in it.
Yeah.
That's my thing, is that it's like, face your shit, but don't sit in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's
wallowing in it doesn't help anybody.
No, not at all.
Anybody.
There's no point.
So 14 to when did you finally get off?
14 to...
How long was the stretch? You don't have to give your age, but how long was this?
14 to... I mean, I used other things. I escaped in like books and puzzles, and I escaped in like other things. I was always feeling like weird and off and very uncomfortable, like my skin was crawling. So when drugs and alcohol came in, honestly, it was a relief. It was a fucking relief. The voices in my head shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And it was like, I finally just got to go after my career. I went to college, studied psychology, but was like secretly doing acting.
Okay.
I was like, ooh, no one will know. And that took off, but so did my alcoholism. And I think I would try and keep it together. And I went on until I was 29, 30.
Okay.
And then I eventually like hit the bottom enough where just I was drinking and driving, crashing into cars.
Okay, I was going to say, what was the... So I guess you
Arrested
graduated
a
to
few
the drugs. I
times.
assume California, you're doing the Molly and the Coke and whatever else.
I actually started that one in Florida. I was deathly afraid of
same
drugs.
thing.
Right? I went to FSU. I was like, we went.
Oh, nice.
I don't even know how the fuck I graduated. I graduated 3.0. Fuck it.
Nice. Good job.
Yeah. And so it was like a scene at a Cruel Intentions. Do you remember that movie?
Of course.
I was bartending at a very young age.
That might have been the first movie, by the way, that introduced the fucking of the stepsister that's now in porn.
Oh, that is
that's
the
now
whole...
ubiquitous in porn.
I mean...
Cruel Intentions might have kicked off that whole thing.
I mean, here's the thing, though. It might have already been a thing. There's no way, because they wrote that thinking like,
I'm sure somebody in history. Look, in history, people fuck their actual sister. I mean, look at the royal family. I mean, they're all inbred. Those fuckers.
They're inbred as fuck.
Yeah, but I'm saying, in terms of pop culture, that might have been the first time, like in movies,
they like did it and made it sexy.
Yeah, I mean, like, ooh, that's hot.
Yeah.
You know, like it was kind of sexy. It was like, wait a minute, they're fucking related.
I know, right? But the whole Midwest was like, we've been doing this our whole life. Now you guys put it in Hollywood. Hollywood's copying us.
I know, right?
You're like, yeah, I mean, you guys have some good ideas. The whole like the South Rising thing, no, but like, sure. fucking someone that's a relative, could be, you know, but not blood related, we could see it. You cross the line when it's blood, though. You cross the line.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to fucking actual relative.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm bartending and I'm fucking wasted. It's not even midnight. The doors aren't even open yet, and I'm fucking because you have a spill sheet that you could have as a bartender. So when you spill something,
like if somebody order, I didn't order this, and you dump it,
right?
Yeah.
And it just happened to get dumped in my mouth. Okay. We just happened to dump it in my mouth.
Which, by the way, that's I mean, as expensive as liquor is at bars.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it costs them nothing because the fucking margins are great.
Oh yeah.
But I would just keep the extras and be like, all right, $2 for whoever. If you want an old fashioned, I don't want an old fashioned, but I'll take it for $2.
Right. Exactly.
You know, like get some money on that. Don't just throw it out.
No.
It seems wasteful.
It's too wasteful.
I'm gonna suck the rag at the next bar I go to.
Listen,
I'm gonna drink those mats.
Man after my own heart, right there. That's the type of shit I want to hear. There's no quitting. Like as an alcoholic, when I watch people don't finish their drink, there are dry drunks out there. There are people who cannot fucking lick the bottom of a Jack Daniel's bottle. How dare you not finish?
To every alcoholic who can't have the drink.
It's disrespectful. If I could drink normally, I would drink every day, all day long.
Really? So drinking is your number one.
Oh yeah, but then all of a sudden, so I'm wasted trying to do my job, you know, and the doors aren't even open, people aren't even in yet, and I'm falling down behind the bar.
Wait a minute, you're drinking the spillers that haven't even been spilled?
Oh yeah. We're spilling it in my mouth. I'm sucking on the rag.
The register's not even open. We've already spilled 12 drinks. How the fuck is that even possible?
Exactly.
No one ordered. No one's here.
So all of a sudden, my friend, she goes, Natalie, get over here. And I'm like, all right. She takes me to the bathroom, pulls me to the back, undoes her necklace, untwists it, fucking scoops something out, throws it up my nose.
Oh, she has.
She had the cruel intentions.
She had the cruel intentions.
She had the cruel intentions. That shit went up my nose, and I was like weekend at Burnings, like awoke from the dead. Okay. I was back, my friends. Yeah. I was back, and I was like, woo! That night I crashed into more cars, but I was aware of it, and I was awake. I could do my job, and I could drink more. And I was like, cocaine and alcohol.
Well, I've read there's actually like a compound that forms in your blood called cocaine alkali. When you mix it with alcohol, it creates a whole different compound that gives you a different feeling. So that's why a lot of coke users drink with cocaine.
Oh yeah.
It's like a symbiotic kind of relationship.
Oh, I pretty much, that was like it went hand in hand. So once that got introduced, it was like once I did something, I was no longer afraid of it.
The amount you're drinking, right? Because you're up.
Oh yeah,
you know?
which was lovely.
You were drinking 3 bottles of wine a night, now you're drinking 6.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck.
Well, I was more of like a chug the handles type of chick. I wasn't really like, wine only happened when the Jameson was out. I was getting kicked out of the bar, and I needed to steal a bottle at 7-Eleven.
I'll say
probably
this
owe
about
them
wine. I feel like women drink wine to look classy
around other women,
but they're just getting fucking hammered too. Like you know, like
wine has more alcohol.
It's like, oh, look at me, I got a fancy glass. It's
yeah.
It's like you're still getting fucked up like I am, lady.
Exactly. That's literally that's the only
horse.
Yeah. Any woman that's like, oh my god, I only drink wine. First of all, Becky, it's like over 10% alcohol. I would just prefer doing wine over beer because I would have to.
Yeah, well, that's why I drink hard liquor because it just works faster. But you see it on the morning shows like Good Morning America, fucking Hoda, and what's her name?
They're drinking
it's like,
wine.
Oh, isn't it silly? We're drinking wine. It's like if Lester Holt had a glass of scotch on the nightly news, they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, but his little bit of scotch.
That's unacceptable. But wine is funny. Somehow that's
so funny though because when you actually compare it, like that glass of wine is the same as that
little
bit. I know, and it's like this Mondo. I'm like, they're getting fucking hammered, but it's classy. So it's like, but that little bit of scotch is actually the same amount of alcohol as their big ass thing of wine that they're drinking. And I'm just like, either way, just drink it. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever works.
Whatever. Yeah.
So did you get into dating after you got clean, or did you, the dating coaching?
The dating coaching
after you got clean?
I did. So actually, what happened was I would give unsolicited advice drunk, and I just happened to be really good at it. Because he just had no filter. Like I remember one of my close friends right now got a divorce. He's like Mormon or something. Can't remember. I'm fucking it up.
One of those intense.
But one of those were like, you get married and that's fucking it.
Yeah.
And he married someone that was like cheating on him. The relationship was terrible. And I remember one night he's calling me and he's crying and he's trying to make it work. He's trying to get her to go. And I just didn't have a filter, gave no fucks, which is pretty much how I coach. And I just was like, hey, listen, I know you believe in God, but maybe you didn't choose the one that God chose for you. Maybe you fucked up. And maybe you chose the wrong one.
That's a good way to, I mean, that's the hard thing about coaching. Like in that circumstance, if you have someone who like believes in God and everything is, you know, preordained, it's like, well, then if he fucked up, then it's somehow God. Like it's hard to get. Like, how would you coach someone religious that thinks everything is meant to happen for a reason? But I don't think everything. I think things just happen. You know
I do and I don't. I think that I'm a mix. So I think that like
there's a reason. Some things happen because your actions, and some things just happen. Like some things just fucking bad things happen in the world, good things happen. You know, some people play the lotto and win, and most don't. There's no. It's not like God gave you the lotto ticket from up on high. Yeah.
So I will say, in my life and in my experience, there's been some gnarly shit that I've gone through, sober and not. And including my family. I was just on the phone with my mom and we were talking about it. She's had some like gnarly fucking shit too, which I love because I told her, I was like, you know, I look at us as badasses. Like I don't look at us as like, you know, I remember after, like there's a lot of trauma and like I might have yelled at people for a year and screamed at people's faces, but then you heal. But there's something about like shit happens. Life is in session. Shit hits the fan. And you just got to deal with it. I will say that in my experience, because of those things happening, it's not my fault. Trauma is not our fault at all. But there's like an award, or you get a reward after you go through it. The one that I tell my clients the most, for instance, is like, for me, I've gone through a lot of narcissistic abuse. Ooh, did I date some narcissistic, sociopathic, nutbag motherfuckers.
Welcome to LA.
Oh my!
That's why I haven't dated a single girl from LA.
Oh yeah, don't.
In 3 years.
Oh, and
I'll pass.
I know, and for some reason, I found all of them that aren't even in LA. Like anywhere I go. So when you deal with that, what happens is your brain splits. You question yourself. You doubt yourself, and when you doubt yourself, you doubt other areas in your life. You fuck up.
Is it their narcissism that it makes them like a compulsive liar that makes you start doubting yourself? Like, what about the other person's narcissism makes you doubt your feelings and your beliefs?
I think for the most part, it stems from childhood. It stems from if you had a childhood where you had that, where you were questioning yourself and questioning your safety, and you had a parent that made you feel like you weren't right, or that you had to watch your surroundings and constantly kind of like second guessing yourself. If you had anything like that, then when you get older, you have a tendency to date that. That becomes familiar.
Okay.
When you treat people like puzzles, when you constantly have to figure other people out and you're questioning yourself. Because there are plenty of people out there that if they get around a narcissist, they're like, fuck that. That person's weird as fuck. There's just those of us that might have had more.
Oh, yeah. So the person who's had that kind of trauma, they're sort of like, maybe they're right and I'm the crazy one.
Exactly.
Okay,
people who are like people pleasers, or people who have high empathy but no fucking boundaries. Those are the ones that are targets that'll wind up like, because what they do is they feel bad.
And I think that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that kind of thing is, the narcissist by nature seeks that person out.
Yes.
And the person who's over empathetic seeks out that kind of narcissism.
Yes.
In a weird way. Like,
in a weird
you
way.
sort of fall into each other.
Exactly.
Because who else? Obviously, if you're hanging out with a narcissist and you're adjusted, you're like, this guy's a fucking asshole.
He's an idiot.
This woman's crazy.
Yeah.
You walk away.
Exactly.
But if you stick around, you're empathetic, so that's who they're going to end up with.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I will say, I do think that, like, anyone, if you're around someone and you even have, like, a little bit of doubt or whatever, let's say if I'm coaching a guy and he really wants, a lot of men have been taught that, like, bitches are top quality women, when we're going, no, those are just bitches. They suck.
Yeah.
And I apologize to saying the B word, but let's be honest.
We can say whatever we want on this.
Yeah.
I call bitches all the time.
I know, because then for those
just
of
like
us,
I call guys this motherfucker. Like,
and I do that too.
Not every woman is a colloquialism.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Because
I don't call my mother a bitch.
No, well, I kind of have with that, but we have a better relationship now.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but she knows because I'm saying it to her face, and I'm like, well, Mom, you kind of were a bitch to Dad right there. She's like, was I? I'm like, yeah, a little bit. She's like, my bad. So, but I will say, because for those women of us that like have done the damn work on ourselves and we are quality, we're also in the other realm of like seeing quality men too. Quality men get with quality women, fucking period. So, women who are insecure, you'll get with men who are gonna make you feel insecure.
Make you feel insecure.
Vice versa.
Because it's like, oh, so you're familiar with
it. It's a confirmation bias.
Yeah.
I will get with whatever, and I will do whatever confirms the insecurities that I feel about myself until I fucking heal them. Yeah. That's why I love the dating coaching thing, because it also, with dating and with relationships, it will actually reveal in us everything that we need to heal in order to become successful in our careers. It's a beautiful mirror.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the thing about the dating coaching. I mean, I was reading a book on confidence recently, and it all goes back, in my opinion, to something I learned when I got out of I was engaged. I was telling you about this at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
I was engaged, and I got out of it right before the wedding. But I got into sort of mindfulness meditation and going to therapy, and it all comes back to just that. It's like dating coaching is just basically you're like a psychologist for the person. Hey, what's your problem? If I fix your emotional problems, your dating life will resolve itself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like if I fix whatever, egotistical problems you have or whatever insecurity problems you have, that will lend itself towards your dating life. You know what I'm saying?
Because the thing is that like, so anything from our childhood, from when we're formulating that and we're getting like, I'm not good enough, I'm too much, I suck, I'll never make it. What will happen is that like sometimes we won't know that that's running in the background, and we'll wind up like secretly.
Well, that's where the mindfulness comes in. The way I like to describe it is it's basically.
You'll get that mindfulness whenever you date, because you will literally
it's coming right back at you.
Exactly. Because you can kind of see it.
What's going on in your head.
You can kind of see it in your career, and you will, and you can kind of see it in your friendships, and you will. But when you really see it is your romantic relationships. That shit will call it out.
But if you really stop and listen, you can hear it in your head.
You can hear it.
The way you talk to yourself in your head is exactly what you're going to get.
That's literally
put out there in the world. You know.
Yes.
I mean, so like
it's so important the way you talk to yourself.
And you have to remember like it's just a thought.
It's just a thought.
It's not a reality. I am a loser. That
says who?
Those three
who
words.
Put that there?
Those 4 words cannot sum up an entire person.
No.
You know, like so you have to just remember. I'm just thinking these thoughts. They're not reality.
No, and it's just chatter here.
And even if you're like, but it's true. It's like, well, and even if you think it is true, and some parts of it might be true. Why would that stop you from doing the next best thing for your life?
Exactly. What's the next right indicated action?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing too. I love saying this one, whether you're good enough or you're not good enough, it doesn't actually matter. You're going to prove yourself right no matter what. So which one do you want to be?
Yeah.
Because you can prove them right either way. So if you want to be good enough, then give yourself evidence and move forward with that.
Yeah.
Then you create a new neural pathway, and what will wind up happening is you'll continue to see evidence that like, no, fuck that, I actually am good enough. Yeah. And then this voice holds no water. I did want to say this too.
Sure.
There is a difference between therapy and coaching, because this is where I can have a problem with some of the coaching. Okay. There's a lot of coaches that like they can give misinformation or talk about you shouldn't label yourself, and I'm like, there's a difference between labeling and a diagnosis.
Yeah.
Where some coaches will be like, you shouldn't put people in a box, and ADHD or OCD or codependency, and it's like that's a therapist can only do that, and there's a reason for that. There is like differences in brain chemistry. Yeah. And so a therapist is someone that's going to help you on like a deeper level with those things. So it's like a coach can help you recognize.
And you also probably provide like strategy.
I provide strategy. So a coach is someone that's like, we're going to provide strategy. We're going to give you that forward motion. But some of those like big ass motherfuckers, if you like, you need
to seek professional help.
We get to find them and do something about it so that we don't keep repeating it. But like my favorite is when I have a client who's also in therapy, because then it's like, we're not going to be crying over your shit today. Pay someone else for that shit. We got shit to do.
You get to focus on how do you meet someone you want to meet.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you got started, you told me you started at the bar. Just kind of giving it casually. But did you go back and get certified in these things? Like, how do you? Is there like a national board?
Yeah.
Or how does it work to get certified?
Oh God, it's so unregulated right now. It's so unregulated. Okay. So how it works is, I have a degree in psychology, psychology and communication.
You mentioned that, so I was like, that makes sense.
So it kind of was natural. And so as I was like growing from college on, I was naturally like, just people would gravitate toward me. And there was a lot of I had a lot of people that are experiencing shame in their sexuality, especially in the artist community. I have a lot of friends that just felt like uncomfortable in their own skin and who they were dating. So they would naturally, I just don't judge. There's just so much shit I've done and experienced that who cares?
Also,
there's no time.
That's a little bit of a misnomer. Everybody judges.
Everyone judges. I judge.
But you don't
But I don't care.
On those judgments.
I judge like a motherfucker. Yeah. Oh God, for sure.
One of my biggest pet peeves is like, I don't judge.
No, definitely
everybody, judge. If you don't judge and you can't get
I just don't care what you do.
Yeah, you're not bothered by it.
No.
Yeah.
I don't care. There's just nothing that I haven't seen or experienced that I'm like, oh my God, what? Like, I don't care. And so people feel very comfortable around me, and they'll share these like deep, dark secrets, and it's always been that way. And so I was always kind of like helping people find their truth. I don't fix people. I help them figure out their shit. That's about it. I connect the dots. I'm a puzzle person. Okay. I fucking find the missing pieces. It's just what I'm good at. Which would also connect me to narcissists, because I was like, ooh, these motherfuckers are like human puzzles.
You want to fix them.
Oh, I stopped doing that. There's boundaries now. So what happened was when I got sober, I needed a career that made me feel fulfilled while I was also re-pursuing acting, comedy, sketches, and writing. And I wound up falling into an old friend had a company, and she was like, hey, I could use another person and I can train you as a coach. And I was like, cool. And what wound up happening is at that time I was already sponsoring. Okay. And I was sponsoring in a program, and sponsoring was like exactly like it. Like I heard her on the phone, and then she heard me on the phone.
It's also probably a great place to meet new clients. I mean, like,
I know.
Because I know you're supposed to be clean for a while before you get back into the dating world, but eventually these people, I mean,
it's just
eventually once they get them their lives together, they want to meet somebody. You know?
Dude, I gravitate in a lot of addicts and alcoholics. I specialize in trauma, addiction, narcissistic abuse, toxic relationships, and but what winds up happening is majority of the time, the clients that I get, they come to me and they're doing these toxic repeat patterns. But what we wind up happening is that their whole lives take off, because everything that I coach, everything, it's all the same work. It's all internal. It's internal game. It's not this talk to her this way and pull some manipulative bullshit here. I'm like, no. Let's get down to your roots.
Pickup artist things.
I know, which doesn't work.
I mean, some parts of it I'm sure work, but it's
only will work on.
But it's a little bit of it's kind of like. It's like those chess strategies. It's like
it's so
here's
bad.
the first
and
three moves. I'm like, all right, but then what?
Yeah, then what? And then you have to continue to play games.
Yeah, and then what?
And then what? Yeah. And so what I do and what we wind up teaching, that authentic shit, is that who are you? And what's the extra bullshit that got put on there that's not you? We're not changing you. We're getting back to you. That way, when you make a decision, you feel comfortable with it, and it's your fucking choice. And you find the people that gravitate to you, because if you're not Mr. Don Juan and you're a geek with like a dope ass personality, then we're leaning on that, because there's other women out there that love that shit,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's sort of the gift and the curse of social media. It lets you, and social media and the dating apps, it lets you know just how many options there are out there, which is bad for long-term relationships. But then also everyone can find their own little corner of the world with the people that want to fuck with what they want to fuck with.
Exactly.
If you're into cosplay, there's a whole
there's a whole.
If you're fuck, there's a chess community on Facebook. You probably bang a chess nerd girl if you want.
Hell yeah!
So there's
own your nerd. Own your shit. That's my biggest thing, because most of the time when you're sitting there trying to be something else and then playing some games with that, you're just so inauthentic, you're miserable. But what winds up happening is that the stuff that I do, we wind up doing crushing your limiting beliefs, finding out your purpose, overcoming that shit. And what winds up happening is that it's less work. You're not needing to approach and pick up anyone. More people gravitate toward you because you're a magnet, and it winds up in all areas of your life taking off.
And how long does a typical engagement last? Do some people just can't get a hold of themselves and it's fucking years of this shit, or is it 6, 8 months? What are we talking?
I mean, honestly, with the coaching strategy and with the stuff, it's so basic. Even if you were to journal and meditate for 30 days alone and start identifying what your limiting beliefs are, 30 days. And within 30 days, you'll see a difference.
All right, so it's not like most therapists who just keep you on the fucking dole for the rest of your life.
No, I know. Well,
yeah. Give me $250 every other week forever.
Yeah.
It's what the fuck?
I know, right? No, and that's why with therapy, the way that I look at therapy is that's a safe place to dump your shit that you're collecting, and then that way you're not dumping it on your friends. With coaching, I will say I do have clients that I've had clients for years, years, and I'll have them every week, because we're looking at how are your repeat patterns playing out in all areas of your life, and how are you sabotaging in those areas?
And I bet it's
you need a refresher
setting.
But it's accountability too.
Yeah, that's true.
You get accountability right there.
Having a personal trainer, it's people pay for a personal trainer to make them show up at the gym. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
They don't play. They know how they know how to run and lift weights.
Yes.
They're paying, so it's a penance if they don't show up.
Dude, I literally, so with, I noticed this because I've been in the game for dating coaching for a minute. I've given out all my information. I do, like, usually every Mondays, I'll do, like, when I'm not being lazy as fuck. And also
Like
not
this
getting
Monday.
banned on Instagram. Sometimes that happens. My bad. I posted something about, like, cutting someone, and then apparently, like, I was like,
joke
I'll
or
fuck
in
that.
real
As a
life?
joke.
Well, yeah, no, you can't joke about that anymore.
No.
Dude, I posted a video. I had Emily Browning on, very funny comic. She was
Yeah,
talking
she's
about
good.
buying a dildo, buying a new dildo.
Yeah.
Got fucking flagged by Instagram. I thought they were all about women's empowerment. She was telling me about it, like how she goes. Like,
Well, you know, there's some states you can't actually, like in Texas, it's illegal to have more than 6 dildos or something like that. Like you can get a gun, but you can't.
Define 6.
Right?
It was like a table full of men. You know, 7's too much, 5's too few.
Right?
6.
6 is the number. Because 666.
What?
And women are the devil.
How'd they figure out an arbitrary number like that?
Dude, I don't even get
also,
it.
how do you keep track? It's not like they register dildos.
No, right? Why are
They
you
don't even register
registering
guns in
dildos?
Texas. They're not gonna register a dildo.
But apparently you register the dildos. You ladies, if you're in Texas, make sure your dildo's registered. You don't want to be pulling that thing out.
Although to be fair, if you have more than 6, I imagine some of them are old. You should probably throw them out and replace them.
Right.
You know, a little worn out.
Or
you're fucking the balls at this
what
point.
if you're doing? You could be doing. Or here's the thing: you could be doing sex parties. Perhaps you're the go-to one where like everyone keeps forgetting their dildos.
That's the worst reason to buy more dildos.
Why?
Who the fuck wants a used dildo?
I mean, you wash it.
Still.
You don't know if
Have
like
you ever bought a dildo at a yard sale? No, I'm sure we washed it. No.
You know what? We haven't been allowed to sell dildos at a yard
have resale
sale.
value than pillows.
They do go down a bit. They do go down.
Why would you want to use
It's
dildo?
$69 when you first buy it. It does drop in value.
Yeah, way fucking down. Why would you want to use dildo? It's weird.
I mean, we don't know if that's a fetish.
That's a good point.
If we put it on the movies,
Oh,
like
no,
Cruel
no.
Intentions,
I bet if
now all of a
I bet
sudden,
there's a big aftermarket for used dildos from OnlyFans.
dude, you do realize people buy used underwear and used socks.
But I'm saying, but like a woman wouldn't buy a used dildo from another woman just so she could get a deal on a dildo. That seems a little gross, you know. But to be honest with you, I think that's where women are wrong in this. If you care about the environment, ladies, buy used dildos.
Right? Because it's plastic.
There's a trash heap the size of Texas floating around in the ocean.
Right?
All plastic.
Think about how
Which
many
means
dildos are out there.
There's got to be a Delaware-sized raft of dildos floating in the ocean.
There's got to be a dolphin out there who's getting whacked in the fucking face.
He's got a dildo in his blowhole. The balls are hanging out. Some woman
There's
killed
got
the
to be
dolphin
a
with
fucking
a dildo.
whale out there that's getting fucked by your dildo, Becky.
Some fish getting fucked by it.
There's a fish out there that's getting fucked right now by your dildo. There are penguins out there swallowing these
Swallowing
balls.
dildos. Swallowing butt plugs.
You know, they were like getting wrapped with like the plastic
the
things.
plastic on the Coke
Now
cans.
imagine, and they just haven't been able to show it because it's
too
getting
risque,
banned.
yeah.
It's too risque. Like the whole time, these environmentalists have been trying to really show the dangers of dildos out there. These penguins are getting fucked in the eye.
I wonder if there's a biodegradable dildo. You know, they used to make dildos out of bread back in ancient Greece.
This sounds awful.
Yeah.
I don't even. Like that.
Stale bread. It was hard. I mean,
Okay.
you smooth it off and you fucking.
I do
and then you
feel
can
like,
eat it afterward. You can put it in your salad.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. I don't know if
your
it's.
pH ain't off, I bet it tastes great.
Or I'm wondering if it's better. I don't know if that's better for your yeast and pH on that one.
Yeah,
Shit, we're doing it wrong. We need to go old school.
They've even found dildos made out of stone from the Stone Age.
I think they're still doing that.
Dildos out of stone?
Yeah, but like crystal.
Yeah, they make them out of like the lucite now.
Yeah, for like the hippies out
fancy,
there.
yeah, the marble. By the way, who's fucking pay like $1,200 for marble dildo?
I mean, rich people.
I know, but still, see, it seems wasteful.
You know what I mean?
I'd rather put it
Instead
as
of, like-
tiles on my floor.
Well, yeah, but like, what if they're like they already have the tiles and they're like, you know what? I already have glass and I already have marble everywhere. You know what? I want to be fucked by marble.
I want to look that up. What's the world's most expensive dildo? Is it made out of like platinum? Or a diamond dildo?
Diamond dildo.
Must be.
No, it's got to be, you know what? There's got to be something. I wonder, here's the better question. Who owns that? Is it a man or a woman?
Dude, my money on some Saudi royal prince. Those guys have all the money in the world to waste and shit like that, and they're all sexual deviants because they're so repressed in their country.
Yeah, but they also,
That's what most of the porn is watched. You know, behind the United States, like Saudi Arabia and Iran are the two countries that watch porn the most.
Oh,
Makes total sense. I mean, one, because we're all drug addict animals over here.
Yeah,
sexual
because we're
deviants.
just doing
But
it.
over there, they're so repressed they have to watch it.
I mean, then again, though, too, I will say we have a lot of suppression here. I've had a lot of clients where, like, they feel ashamed masturbating.
Well, that's a relic of the Christianity.
Yes. They're so, Christianity and Catholicism,
Yeah.
they feel like it's a sin if they masturbate. And it's like a whole,
Which
like.
is ironic, because the whole time the priests are fucking the boys.
Right? Isn't it crazy? I'm like, hold up. So you can't touch your dick, but you can get fucked by a
I think
priest?
that's why they didn't want you masturbating, so they would hopefully horn up these prepubescent kids.
And then do it?
So the priest can go get them.
That's a whole lot of, that's
it's
a
evil.
big plan.
That's also why I think the Catholic Church is against abortion.
Why?
Because abortion reduces the number of victims that could potentially have.
Oh, because they really don't care about the daughters.
No. They want the children.
They want the children in general. Because most of them, too, are like, well, I guess you could abort a daughter.
Yeah, it's really just bury her alive like in China.
Right.
They did that. I mean, that's what they did in China.
It's what they did.
I'm not making this up.
No.
All right?
And the Spartans, when they would be like defective, and they'd be like, they'd toss them over the side.
pretty
You know,
grim.
in Ireland, they were like, "Oh, this kid, a ghoul got him. This is a fairy swapped our. This is a fairy swapped our thing. They have like a name for that." So this kid, because it would happen when they were like, if they felt like one of the kids was eating too much food, and they didn't have enough money to support their family, then they were like, "Oh, a goblin or a fairy switched our baby out for this. There's this really actually a ghoul, so we should toss this baby."
I mean. Like I said, I did say we were a little bit too into our feelings this day and age, which
we're gonna get flagged for sure for this
I
shit.
don't give a fuck. I've been canceled 5 times over for this show. I'm going with the Donald Trump method of just flooding the zone with awful shit. So no, you can't. I mean, at this point, any episode, you know.
Dude, it's so crazy how many people, even though he's like so fucked up and like left and right being shown that he's a terrible human being, even more people are like, "That's our guy."
No, well, this goes back to humanity.
What is wrong with people?
We have a thing with cults.
Well,
and
yeah.
He created a cult.
He created a cult.
Basically, it's like any other.
The lights
it's
are
like
checked
any
out.
other religion. Even if you know your religion is horseshit, at some point you're so wed to it that you have to defend it, or else you lose your identity.
By the
along with
way,
it.
speaking of,
You know what I'm
remember
saying?
we were talking about confirmation bias earlier?
Yeah.
That actually, it's very rare, but because most of the time when people find me, they know what they're getting. I'm loud, I'm Irish, Italian, like, you know, and I'm like progressive as fuck. But I just understand human behavior. The crazy thing is that there's only been very few where I've had people where if I challenge their belief systems, and I just mean like just little things, they'll freak out because it creates a cognitive dissonance.
No,
so like a
the
flat
thing.
earther.
Yeah.
So it's
You can't shatter their worldview.
No.
Or else who are they?
Right.
Yeah.
So some people with Trump, for instance, they really believe that he's the Messiah and that he's like saving the children and saving America from like pedophiles. And I'm like, what? And you cannot talk to them.
I know.
They actually start shaking.
It's crazy to me because I'm obviously not that kind of a person. It's hard for me to get to believe something without substantial evidence.
Yeah.
But there's some part of me that's almost jealous and like, I wish I had faith without evidence, because it seems to like make you more sure in the world.
Yeah.
You know, like the more I know, the less I know about the world in general. Like, you
Yeah.
know, the more I know intellectually.
I feel
the
like
less
my faith
know.
has grown.
But in some way, it's almost like your life is a lot simpler. It's almost like being a dog. Like you don't
yeah.
worry about you
Dude,
don't
but
worry
I
about
don't know
existential
about-
problems
yeah.
if you think Trump is Jesus. You know, like
Yeah.
you just think he's God. I listen. That's it. You
Right.
sort of divorce yourself of investing time in building, your own worldview.
I know, but then you watch them too, and they're so rigid. But I will say this: I've watched the same thing, and I don't mind people having religious beliefs. More power to you.
No, I have a problem with them telling me how to live.
Right,
Do
exactly.
whatever you want.
My thing is that it's like I'm just not that obtuse to think that like my God is your God, and that like that like somehow I'm right. Like it based on fucking what?
I kind of treat it like ice cream.
There's different
I like
flavors.
vanilla. I don't like chocolate. I don't ban chocolate.
No,
I just don't eat it.
I just don't eat it. It's your
I just don't-
chocolate.
I just don't eat it. You have it.
right?
More for you.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't force fucking feed me chocolate, motherfucker. I don't want it. Like no, like what's the safe word here? Red, motherfucker. Pineapple. Stop. The other thing is like I've seen the lights get checked out in people that are in certain like this is how I know not to go to certain Christian groups. Like some I'm fine with. Some I've gone to some churches where like they're dope. They're open. They understand equality.
Unitarian churches or
right.
whatever.
They understand like, you know what, there's been things that the church has really f***ed up on in the past because if you're not capable of understanding that it's human a factor and that we're not God, a priest
Yes.
is not God, a pastor is not God, and that person can be fallible, then you know what I mean? Like that's the thing that we need to start looking at. But I've seen some people from like Christian groups where like they're talking to me and they're like talking about life and like their church and their eyes are like glazed over.
Yeah.
And it's like they're not there. Even some people in Scientology, when I've walked in there and I've seen, it's like they're
walked in
not.
there?
Yo, I did. I got tricked.
I got a free acting
I got
class.
fucking. My friends were like, "Yo,
How do you
Natalie."
give out free acting classes and you don't know it's a Scientology thing until you walk in. Like, oh, fuck.
Dude,
You did
I've
it for
walked.
6 weeks. Like, oh, wait a minute. They
And
break out
nothing-
the e-meter on you?
I know, bro. And I have some friends that like know what they're getting into and have used Scientology because they know that like they're
It does help
selling.
in Hollywood. A lot of fucking actors in it, man.
If you want to use some
I wonder if you can
things,
lie your way through it. Like I wonder.
I have some friends that are trying to
Okay,
do it.
good.
And it doesn't look like the lights are checked out. I have seen when I walked in there though, some of their people that are like selling you, my heart breaks. The light in their eyes is like checked out. I see that shit when I'm in a 12-step program, when I'm in a meeting. If someone's about to relapse or someone's going through some dark shit and I'm nervous and I'm worried about them, the lights are checked out. Like they're not there. And I'll see that same thing in people who are like hyper like, you know, Trump or like hyper like extreme or hyper Christian or like
And oddly enough, like those cult type things that people get drawn into a lot of times. Any cult. A lot of times, you'd be surprised. People, oh, they're so stupid. No, a lot of those people are highly intelligent.
Yes.
Unfortunately, you being highly intelligent allows you to rationalize bad decisions better. You know what
So-
I'm saying? Like in a weird way, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you can figure out reasons why that person is right,
Dude.
even when they're wrong, because you're good at rationalizing.
This is where my faith grew. I was really indignant and a real big asshole and hypocritical, especially in 2020, when I was like, how can you not understand BLM or equality or like, how can you not understand trauma and fuck you for causing more? And I realized, shit. I'm sitting here pointing the finger and not realizing that those people are also in trauma.
Yeah.
And so narcissistic abuse and sociopathic abuse. What I see a lot of in America is we have a lot of Stockholm syndrome. So you have people that are the victims of the abuse and that are like actually getting abused. And then you have people that have the Stockholm syndrome that'll tell the victims, shut the fuck up, you're making it up, be quiet, it's your fault. But they're also getting abused too.
Yeah.
So you have these two
Well, I
factors.
mean, Trump supporters are some of the most abused people in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, like, these poor
So
white,
my faith actually
uneducated
grew.
voters in Appalachia that vote for him are just as
They're
desperate
just
as
as-
black people in Chicago.
Yo,
in Chicago. I mean,
facts.
But somehow it's
facts,
everybody
facts.
else's fault. You know,
I
like,
know.
It's weird.
So I really got to see in after growing and healing and really going like, oh shit, we're all in this. We're all in this together. And it's like, it's more about like holding the abusive people accountable and also kind of seeing the humanity in other people and going like, all right, I see. Because for me too, I have a high ass fucking IQ. Still got addicted to drugs and alcohol. I think I'm over.
Well,
I'm
people
like
with
156.
higher IQs use drugs and alcohol at a higher
Yeah.
rate, at a much
So I
higher
have like
rate.
156. I think I'd have to check it again. I have to check it again because I don't know. My dad high IQ too, but he's just nuts. I love him to death, dude. It's great. And so I was getting in narcissistic relationships and sociopathic
Well, the
and
thing is,
psychopathic.
your intelligence rationalizes your emotions, not,
Hell yeah.
not the other way around.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. But also, it's like our subconscious mind is what rules our behavior, and then we get to like see the mirror, heal it, figure it out, and hopefully, maybe not.
We'll see. All right, let's. So at the end of the show, I always get into a little bit of news, and I picked
Okay.
some good news articles for us.
Would be
They all come from the New York Post, the paper of record. You're familiar with the New York Post?
Yeah.
So they're not hard stories, but,
All right.
but I picked out 3 just for you because I know you're the relationship coach.
All right, what do we got?
All right.
This is so fun.
So a sexologist opens up about living with her boyfriend and her husband and kids.
Okay.
A leading Australian sexologist has opened up about living with her husband and their 2 sons and her boyfriend. Tamika Wilder, who's based in Byronshire, Australia, told the host of the show she was on, Maggie Kelly, about her unconditional living situation. She said, I met the father of my 2 kids a few years ago.
Okay.
Been with him for a while. We had some kids, but then I wanted to have more in my relationship. I made it very clear to him at the time that we got together that I wanted it to be a polyamorous, open relationship, and he was fine with that. Smash cut to 11 years later, they moved in with a 3rd guy, Rob, and now they're having, it's not a throuple, but they're having an open relationship with, the boyfriend living in the house, the husband living in the house, and the 2 kids.
Okay.
My question for you, because I know you're in the open relationship dating scene thing.
Yeah, I've coached on all of it. I've dealt with all of it. I've experienced. I've dabbled.
I'm curious about how this could impact living with the children. Because I thought about it, 'cause I came from a single parent home.
Right.
You know, and that's hard, right? Because you have one parent who's trying to be two.
Right.
You know, and thank God I'm mostly well adjusted, I think. But, you know, it does create problems in, you know, kids' lives, and you can overcome them, whatever. It's not a big deal. I don't blame my mother at all. I obviously want her to be happy.
Yeah.
But when I thought about it on the flip side, people were like, oh, you know, she was like, oh, it's great. You know, they have two fathers. But she talks about in that article about how she still wants to go out and, you know, do different kink play and all this stuff. And the dad goes out and does all this. And I'm like, well, who has time for the kids if the three of them are fucking other people?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I was concerned about.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Oftentimes people think that, like, when you're open or when you're, like, doing these things, that you're fucking doing it all the time.
Yeah.
No. That's like the cherry on top. That's the, like, once a month or, like, once a year, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, see, I don't know the frequency. I figured...
Nah, it's not that frequent.
When I hear open relationship, it's like, oh, I'm dating her and other people. And in my mind, when I hear...
You're thinking that, like...
Yeah, but when I think open relationship, it's like, wow, that's why... I don't
it's not that
them.
frequent.
I just think it's not for me, because if I wanted an open relationship, that just means I want to be single. You know, I want to date... I could date multiple women, but why would I want to have a relationship with one and sleep with, you know...
Right. So here's the thing.
No, when I say dating, I mean sleeping around.
Right.
You know?
So imagine it this way. There's so many times where, like, let's say, for instance, in a married relationship, one partner is, like, dealing with sex problems and is unable to do it, and the other partner is suffering from that. And struggling with that, and is, like, not getting their needs met that way.
Yeah, see, but that's just you being selfish. If you knew you didn't like sex with that person, you shouldn't have gotten into a relationship with them. It's that simple.
It's that simple. But that's, you know. But here's the thing: there are
if you
some
don't
people.
like it anymore, then you end the relationship.
Right. But here's the thing:
I want to keep that person on the back burner while I fuck somebody else. It's rude to both people involved, in my opinion.
Typically,
just be open, just be single, and say, hey, I'm dating you, and I'm dating
this person,
and I'm not.
But that's
I don't
poly.
have any commitment to anything.
Poly means multiple relationships, so they're poly.
I thought you're single to me. Like
that to me,
if I say I'm single, I can date as many women as I want.
Right.
And if they know that I'm single,
but by the way,
I can date as many women as I want.
But by the way, that's not what an open relationship or a poly relationship is about.
Okay. Yeah,
you cannot just do whatever the fuck you want to do.
See, that's the thing. It's a weird. That's why I think it's foolish, because then you're cutting yourself off and them off. What
do you mean?
You're getting like an emotional attachment with somebody and fucking somebody else. That's unfair to both parties. You know, then you can just say, I'm not going to get you emotionally wrapped up in me.
Right.
You know, I'm single. If you want to see me casually, fine. I'm single. You want to see me casually, fine. This is my girlfriend. I'm going to go fuck her and make my girlfriend feel bad. You're like,
no, but that's if the both parties aren't in agreement with each other.
Okay.
If one partner is poly and open and the other one's not, then that's not going to work out anyway. Okay. Then that's selfish as fuck.
Okay.
That's not listening to your partner. That's not doing it.
But then if both partners are like agree to the open relationship, then aren't you both just single and dating each other and other people at the same time?
I mean,
it's kind of. Like, think about it. If you're on a third date with some guy and you sleep with him that night, but you're seeing a couple other guys and he's doing the same with another girl.
Yeah.
That's essentially the exact same thing as an open relationship.
Not really.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're basically, we're just dating now.
I know.
You know?
No, okay, so here's in my experience. And I've watched it. I've gotten to actually see married couples who are open. And so what happens is when they first started, they closed the container, it's calling. Basically, they stopped dating other people, they dated each other, they built their emotional connection. That's the fucking team.
Okay.
That's the fucking team. That is where, like, everything is here. Now, what would happen in this relationship that I would think about, and probably with this is, when they were ready to, like, try other people, they would do it together. Like, they like threesomes together, they like foursomes together.
She made it clear they're not in a throuple. So she's dating the boyfriend and married to the husband.
And they don't do the threesome together?
No, he's off seeing other people from time to time too.
But they don't have. Yeah. Are you sure that they don't all three?
No, they made it very clear. It's not a throuple.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn, that sucks. That's just.
Well, that's why it's weird. Like, you have two dads running around the house. I mean,
here's the thing. I have 3 dads.
Well, yeah, stepdads.
I have 3 stepdads.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I've got my dad, I've got my stepdad, and I've got my third dad.
Yeah, well,
But that also made me feel, as a woman. By the way, though, having a mom and a dad in the house does not guarantee that a kid's safe.
I was going to say,
they're fucked either way.
See, that's the thing.
We have limiting beliefs no matter what.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I think, listen, my concern in their particular situation with the young kids, the 2 young boys that they had, was the mom made it. Reading the article, like I said, she made it clear they're not in a throuple. She's dating the 2 of them, and she said from time to time she steps out and looks to fill other kinks with women or with bondage or whatever.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, so mom wants to fuck around and has 2 dads watching the kids.
Right.
But they're fucking around too. It's like, so who has time for these kids if everyone's fucking
I know.
everybody and no one's playing
How old
with
are
the
the kids, though?
11 and 9. It's important.
Most of the time, too, with those kids, they have after-school activities.
They've been
they're
together
in
for
games.
3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
They've been living together for 3 or 4
But
years.
here's like I said.
So from the age of 5 to 10, these
because
kids,
you're doing extracurricular activities, like that's an hour. You're fucking for an hour. Like that's it. You're
an hour? Who's fucking for an hour? I mean, come on. I mean, look, from soup to nuts, an hour.
Hold on.
Let's finish
no,
this
here's the
thought.
thing.
I've
we're
had
doing
this argument before. Anything more, 15, 20 minutes max. Max, you got other shit to do to get the nut in. Oh, I'm talking about the
whole thing.
Going to dinner isn't. I'm not talking about that being formal. I'm talking about from pants.
Okay,
from
let me put it
pants
this way.
off.
Now, from pants off can be 1 full hour because there could be tying down, playing with, and then the sex.
I mean,
so the full thing.
I'm talking about
saying
intercourse. I'm not talking about.
Okay, so here's something even better. So you're talking about when in an open relationship or these kinks are being fulfilled. Let's say that it's like once a week at the most, once a week.
All right.
That's 1 hour once a week.
Yeah.
So a parent can't have a fucking hobby?
No, but I'm saying, but you've been single. But have you been single before? You've been single.
Yeah.
You've all been single. Being single is a part-time job. If you're out there dating people, meeting new people,
yeah,
it's fucking work.
But
man.
here's the thing:
they
don't. But that's why. But that's why I'm saying when you're in an open relationship, you don't actually need to do that as much. It's a very rare hobby. It's a cherry on top. You already got your partner, and every now and again you go, "Hey, babe, I'm kind of feeling like I need a woman." Like you're like, "Hey, babe, I've been eating vanilla for 3 months now. Can I pop over and grab cherry?"
I mean, it really is an insult to the other person. I feel like.
But that's your own. Hold up. But that's your own. That's you.
No, it's not me. I think it's being rude to them.
That's
if
according
I told you
to
you're ugly,
yours.
I don't find you attractive. I'm gonna fuck somebody else. That's fucked up.
That's how you're perceiving it.
No, I feel like it'd be mean to say that to somebody.
Yeah, but don't say that to someone.
That's what you're saying when you want to go fuck somebody else. I mean, wait, you can't be any clearer. I don't want to put my dick in you. I want to put my dick in her. You can't be any more clear than that.
I know, hey, I'm bored. Well, all right, what about this? What if you're in a relationship, they're married, but they have to travel a lot and they keep like missing each other and they're getting really horny. Can you just be like, babe, can I just fuck this thing over here?
I mean, see, that's a different arrangement. That I feel like that might be like what Adam Levine had going on with himself, where he's like, hey, I'm the rock star, you're at home. Every now and then I'm gonna go out and fuck somebody.
Oh, I don't know. He was like with the woman, his wife next to yeah.
But that's, I mean, look, I'm not condoning cheating, but that's kind of like why I feel like having legal prostitution in every other developed nation where it's legal helps out. Because that's when a guy on the road in Australia, he's like, I'm from Sydney, I'm in Melbourne on business. My
Let me
wife's
just
away.
fuck something really
I'm
quick.
Like $200 and bang this girl and leave. Yeah. It's like that's better than just, hey, I need a whole other relationship with somebody else.
Yeah, but
that's fucking insulting.
That's crazy.
That's insulting.
I mean, but here's the thing though. I can't, so I've coached on it, so I can't say, you know what I mean? I've seen the polyamorous community.
And I'm not cutting anyone down from doing it. I'm just, for me, it just seems like,
it's
you're splitting hairs from an open relationship to being single. It sounds very, very close, so you might as well just be single. You know?
Yeah, I mean, for poly means multiple relationships.
Well, that's
so for
those
me,
are people into the orgies and want to have,
No, not orgies.
Well, no, but they like to have like that movie.
Just multiple relationships. Not
that sounds like the worst.
Yo.
That sounds like the worst setup.
I will coach that all day long.
3 girlfriends is a nightmare.
And
then if your girlfriend has other boyfriends, you gotta hear about her other boyfriend problem.
Babe, oh my God, John this week, you got to hear what he did. I had a top on. I would have never.
She's gabbing to you about her other boyfriends. Like, bitch, shut up or I'm going to leave you.
I know, right? I think
that's why one boyfriend if you don't stop talking.
But here's the other thing. Well, imagine you're dating a woman and you're in an open relationship. You guys are closed off, but then your wife, you love her to death, but she just keeps fucking yapping. What if you're like, go fuck something else, baby? I'm so fucking tired of this shit. You know what I'm saying? When you develop that level of trust. And you're like, yo, you're my preferred dick, but let me just fucking bother this dude really quick and come back.
It just seems, I've never once seen it work. I've known many people in open marriage. I've dated a woman in an open marriage. Didn't work out for their marriage.
No, I've seen it work.
I'm sure, but it's such a small percentage.
Yeah,
you know,
it requires so much communication. I will say, and trust. But also, here's the other thing. This is very important. The way it works too is let's say
trust. Well, yeah, I trust she's fucking the guy she's fucking.
No, not at all. Trust that if for instance one of the wife or the husband or the girlfriend or the boyfriend are like, babe, right now tonight I just fucking can't. Please don't fuck someone else. Game over. We're the fucking team, and that's it. The other thing too is, and I've watched this, and the other thing too is that it's if, for instance, for a little bit of time, something's happening and they need to like not fuck other people and just stay with themselves, then there's no fucking argument. That's number one, period.
It just seems to be so much more work than a regular relationship. And those regular relationships are already so much work.
I know.
That just be, instead of being open, just be single until you find someone you like. And if you don't like them anymore, find somebody else.
In the kink community,
just keep
though,
finding, that's a whole other thing. If you just like to have a sex party person, whatever, knock yourself out. But, to have like multiple girlfriends, like good, or multiple
I know that one.
Fuck me.
That one does sound like
sounds a nightmare.
Headache.
Can you imagine living with 2 boyfriends?
No, I got to deal with 2 motherfuckers.
Yeah, right. I live with 2 lesbians. They didn't want to fuck me. I still was a problem.
I know, right? No, 2 dudes. If I had to date 2 dudes and then live with them, I'd be like, I fucking can't.
It's too much.
That's why she's like, babe, I need to go fuck a girl. I just can't with you. You two fuck each other.
Here's the last one. On the same note, this one was interesting because this one went around the internet pretty big on TikTok. An Uber driver exposes a passenger's affair mid-ride. An Uber driver started a fierce debate after exposing passengers as an alleged married man and his mistress got together in her car to go to another hotel, but instead of taking them there, she drove them back to his house where his wife was. And obviously it sparked a debate. She's like, it's my car, I can do whatever I want. I don't want this kind of thing going into my car. But one, do you think she was right to interject her ideas into his marriage and bring him back to the house?
So here's my thing. I don't know what the laws are underneath, like if for instance, if Uber or Lyft is like a company or corporation type of thing where they have to abide by certain things.
So you're allowed to cancel.
Do you know what I'm saying?
So you're allowed to cancel any, I've driven for Uber, you're allowed to cancel any time for any reason and they should get out of your car.
Right.
So technically, he put in a destination that was different than where she took him. She essentially kidnapped him.
How did she know to bring him
She picked him up at his house.
Yeah.
He had a roller bag. He said he was going on a trip. He got in the car.
Yeah.
He drove the car to his girlfriend's house, picked her up, and then they were going to go to a hotel. When his girlfriend got in, she started driving towards the hotel. She heard them kissing in the back, and then started driving back to her original destination.
How did she know that he was married and that wasn't his wife?
Because he said goodbye to his wife and kids in the driveway. But that's the thing. One, fuck that guy for not knowing where he was going. Like, I would look up and see, why are we going back towards my house? Stop the car, let me out. That's
right.
what the guy should have said.
Yeah, but he might have, and she might have been like, nah.
Yeah, but then it's kidnapping.
Right, exactly.
Then it's fucking kidnapping.
Yeah, I wish that woman had been like, just pulled over and been like, I can't do this, get out of my car.
Yeah.
Get out of my car.
But that's the thing. To inject that's where I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I come down, if you don't like it, as a driver, you can cancel the fare and tell them to get out. Just tell him to get out. Why is she, the fucking arbiter of this guy should have a fight with his wife over this?
Also, here's the thing. She doesn't know if he's in an open relationship.
Good point. Good point. How the fuck would she know? She's literally interjecting her ideas into someone else's fucking.
You don't know that wife was like, had called that woman and was like, please
get him the fuck away from me.
Please get him. He is annoying the fuck out of me. He won't shut the fuck up about football and his fucking team. I can't handle it. I don't even know who the fucking Seahawks are. Like, just take them. You know what I mean? You don't know.
And also, as I said, I've driven for Uber and I've been in the back seat. I don't want to talk to the driver. I don't want them talking to me.
No, I used to drive for Lyft. I was like, I don't give a fuck.
I don't want any, leave me the fuck alone.
Please leave me alone. Don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me.
Why don't people mind their business anymore?
I don't know. You're from the Northeast, right?
Minding my own fucking business is my favorite thing to do.
Oh, I just saw the meme that you just posted too. New Yorkers, so Connecticut and New York. That's why when people say I sound like, or I have a familiarity of like with Florida, although I got to ask you about that too after.
All right, fair.
Well, how is it that I come off like I'm from Florida? I feel like I come off like I'm from the Northeast, but.
Well, no, I mean, when you start talking for sure, but I think it's the whole dating coach thing and the acting thing. That's more. Is
it more Florida?
Well, it's more LA, but if the alcoholism and the maladaptation to life, that's Florida.
Yo, touche.
That screams Florida.
That is fucking.
The drug addiction screams Florida.
Now I get it. Now I see. Okay. I was always wondering and so upset when people are like, I could see Florida. And I'm like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, alcoholism, okay. Yeah. But my attitude. But no, in New York and in Connecticut, you mind your own fucking business.
I know.
You just mind your own fucking business.
I couldn't imagine, like I said, shame on that guy for not knowing he was headed home and saying, let me out of the car. And shame on the Uber driver for not minding, like, bitch, why do you care who he's
why
fucking?
You care?
Why do you
but
care?
I will.
Unless it was your daughter or your sister who he's cheating on, you should mind your own business.
Exactly. Now here's the other thing. I'm seeing that some women are punishing men because of the stuff that's happened to us. And I understand. I'm one of them. I've had that shit happen to me. I get triggers. 80% of women have been sexually assaulted, or 90% have been sexually harassed, 80% sexually assaulted. I know. 1 in 4 have been raped. That's only the ones that have, said it. As women, we need to fucking heal, because what's happening is that when we're getting triggered, we're now like projecting and causing extra harm. And I know we gotta probably...
Yeah. I'm always stunned by those numbers. One...
But here's my...
But listen, even if those numbers are wildly high and you cut them in half, they're still too
It's
fucking
still too
high.
high. They're still too high.
Which amazes me, because most of the guys I know have never raped anyone.
No, well, so, it can accidentally happen too. It's an accident. It's a weird thing to talk about. So there are some men. There are some men. They're told.
A drunk man and drunk woman having sex in high school is not rape.
No. That's not what I'm talking about.
But I'm saying, but like,
pickup artist community teaches something called last minute resistance, where they teach men that
to push through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
that's the thing. I mean, even if you cut those numbers in half.
Yeah.
Based on that would mean half the men in the world have raped, which is obviously not true.
No, you would have like one dude who's like fucking raped a bunch of dudes.
That's what I'm saying. There's guys out there who are just multiply raping.
Yeah.
Fucking horrible.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have 20 male friends, in LA.
But
None of them
also,
ever raped
too,
a chick.
by the way, most of the time it actually happens where it's like, as a woman, it's someone that you know. It's a friend. And also,
I bet a lot of times, too, especially with molestation, it's probably a parent
or it's an uncle.
Yeah.
But also, I'll say this. You will not know which of your friends have done it, because they won't tell you, but a woman can spot it. So I can tell when I'm around certain men, like which ones.
It's kind of like a drug user.
Like
I can spot a pothead.
I can spot that motherfucker.
I can spot a pothead and women
because
can spot
here's the thing, there
are
some men. I know, right?
Do I look rapey?
You don't have any rapey vibes at all,
God,
dude. Yeah. You're too much of an asshole. I love it. You're just like, you couldn't give 2 fucks. You'd be like, fuck this. I'd rather drink. This is just wasting my time.
Nope,
yeah. I can stick my dick in a fucking cherry pie. Why the fuck do I gotta fight for this hole? Like, that's the vibe that I get. I get the vibe that you do weird shit, but like not that.
Good. I have a weird vibe, but not rapey.
Yeah, not rapey. You know what I mean? And so for what happens is that there are some men that like they might lose their inhibitions and they'll lose their fucking mind when a woman tells them no or rejects them in some way, that like those, and you'll never, with male friends, you'll never know which one.
I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't telling everyone he's eating people.
Right? You're not going to fucking, that's not something, you don't lead with that.
That's actually a very common thing. It's like,
and also, by the way, every one of his friends thought that, and Ted Bundy too.
Yeah.
Ted Bundy fucking raped people and
with dead bodies. Yeah.
And every single person thought that he was a stand-up, amazing human being.
But what happens a lot, too, is like you'll get this, like, oh, he was always nice to me. It's like, well, Hitler was nice to his girlfriend.
Right?
Like Bill Cosby was nice to his wife. He's still a fucking jerk-off asshole.
Yeah, that's exactly how they got their fucking...
them not a monster.
Exactly. Because I do hear that a lot with guys. They're like, no, none of my friends. It's like, motherfucker, what do you think they're going to tell you? But right?
There's some... that's why I don't call them friends. There are guys that I've known over my lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, that fucking guy, I can't hang out with him. He makes me feel weird. I'm not... The way he behaves, I'm not down with that.
There you go.
So
you're... Yeah.
And I have no evidence to sue anything. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to know what I'm walking away.
So exactly. So then he would be one of the ones that we would at the same time as a woman, it'd be like,
what's wrong with that guy?
Yeah. Yo, that dude, like watch him at a bar, like he's like doing some of this in someone's drink. You know what I'm talking about? Probably in his own.
Or worse, like my favorite is when they put their hand in the door jamb. It's like, bro, stop leaning over, stop lurking on them.
You're lurking my shit.
Chicks,
you're lurking my shit. But that's
personal space.
But to go back to like the woman with the Uber driver and like some of the stuff, is like, yo, I get, and I'm so proud of like people are coming out and they're owning their sexuality and they're owning their the Me Too thing happened, and men are coming out and finally owning their emotions more. But like, get into fucking therapy, because y'all motherfuckers, and myself included, I yelled at people for years, and you know what? My ass had to fucking humble myself, say I'm sorry to people, stop projecting my wounds on others, and not hurt people that didn't fucking cut me. Like.
There you go, folks. There's your advice to close the show.
Handle your shit.
You want to promote anything? You want to promote your Instagram? What do you got coming up?
Instagram. Follow me. I keep getting at 40 and like getting stuck. Like,
say it out loud so they know what it is.
I'm at Natalie Stavola. So follow me on Instagram. I'm mostly posting on there. I'm trying to get my YouTube, but I always forget.
I'm putting this on YouTube. This will go up.
Yeah, okay, cool. But yeah, at Natalie Stavola, I post all my dating stuff on there. That's where you can reach me. If you wanted to check out my love coach. I'm lovecoach247.com. That's to get information on dating coaching and life coaching. I'm a life coach. But the main thing is my acting, stand-up, all that. Everything's on my Instagram.
Yeah. This was fun. Well, I'll have you back again. We'll do next time I do it. I do Ask Us Anything episodes. I'll have you on the next time so we can get some dating questions. And they always ask the good dating questions. Really weird ones too.
Oh, I want all the weird ones. Give it.
All right, guys. That's it for this one. Obviously, follow the podcast at Ready Set Blow Podcast. Follow me at Randy Valerio. We'll be back next Wednesday with another show. Thanks a lot, guys. Peace.